What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. We have a lot to talk about today. Freddie Freeman, he was back in Atlanta as a member of the Dodgers. It's still kind of crazy to see him in a different uniform. We had multiple grand slams in yesterday's contest, and Jarred Kelenic, his insane hot start continues. He hit another home run. All of that in today's recap. We do this pretty much every single day, so don't be afraid to stick around and hit that subscribe button. And remember, if you're going to any baseball games, concerts anytime soon, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off your entire order. We're going to go ahead and break out the Christmas music because Christmas came early for Kansas City fans. They don't have to deal with Hunter Dozier anymore. Hunter Dozier has been DFA'd by the Royals. He has been the worst player in baseball since signing an extension. I think it was 2019, 2020, whatever it was. He's been worth a -5 WAR since he signed that extension. He has been absolutely horrific. A -5 WAR. How is that even possible? Right, the first game from yesterday, the Cardinals and the Reds. Rookie Matt McLain has been striking out left and right to begin his career, but he's trying his best to get used to MLB pitching. Look at him go. That's an RBI double, and Tyler Stevenson, he singled in Matt McLain, only to have Paul DeJong grab both those runs back and more. He has 8 home runs and 17 RBIs in 24 games. Now the Reds, they stole the lead right back after Spencer Steer hit a home run. He has 19 extra base hits, 20 RBIs, and an almost 340 on base percentage. That guy is pretty good offensively. Lars Nootbaar, he tied everything up on a double in the 5th, and after Cincinnati took the lead again, Paul DeJong, he grabbed another RBI extra base hit, so make it 18 RBIs in 24 games. Now this one is going to require some free baseball. We go to the 10th inning where Tommy Edman and his arm in right field cannot beat Spencer Steer to the plate. Nick Senzel, he walks it off as the Reds win over the Cardinals, very surprisingly, 6-5. Freddie Freeman got a big round of applause in his return back to Atlanta. I don't think anyone was booing him because I think Braves fans even understand that the Braves chose Matt Olson over Freddie Freeman. Now he did strike out in his first at-bat, so the cheers stayed cheers as they were cheering on their own team at that point. Eddie Rosario, he bashed a 3-run home run into the chop house right before JD Martinez and the Dodgers started their comeback. JD now has 7 home runs on the season. Freddie Freeman got on and he actually ended up scoring on a Max Muncy ground out just ahead of the throw. Now we're going to go to the 4th inning where Marcell Ozuna of the Braves smacked Will Smith. Of course it was accidental and both dugouts cleared, but I think that Ozuna should understand that, hey, Will Smith is coming back from a concussion. He just wants to make sure that Marcell tries to cut back on that because Ozuna has been doing that to a lot of catchers across the league. Everyone went back to their dugouts. There's Freddie. He clears the deck. His 9th home run of the year is a 3-run go-ahead. He's hitting .328 on the season. Atlanta tried their best to stay in, but Mookie Betts and JD Martinez, they both added to the lead. JD, he ends his day going 4 for 4 with 2 home runs. He has a 130 OPS plus on the season. He has been a fantastic signing. Now, I do want to mention the Mets did not play yesterday, so Atlanta, they got to be careful. They're now just 4.5 games back of the Mets, and the Mets have been playing really well. Speaking of playing really well, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is looking to extend his hit streak to 15 games, and he got the stress out early. He's now hitting .321 with 8 home runs. He has a 126 OPS plus combined over his last 164 games dating back to last year. Mickey Mantle, Geraldo Perdomo yet again clutched up with runners in scoring position. He has 21 RBIs and a 1508 OPS when ducks are on a pond. That's just a fun way of saying runners in scoring position. Schwarber, he now has 10 home runs, but he's still just hitting 177. You know who's not hitting 177? Bryson Stott. He's hitting, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, .321 versus lefties. He has 5 home runs and 5 stolen bases on the year. Pavin Smith, he beat both of those guys in home run distance. He went 400 feet for his 4th home run. He needed that because he has been slumping bad the last few weeks. Lourdes, he came away with a 2 RBI day after that double in the 8th inning in Arizona. They end up topping the Phillies 6-3. The Phillies are now 22-25 and they have a -31 run differential on the season, so that means they've been outscored by their opponents by 31 runs. The Rays and the Jays. Chris Bassett came into this one with an impressive 27-inning scoreless streak, and he actually upped it to 28 innings in this one, but an early error allowed Tampa Bay to score and ruin that streak, and there's a no-doubter off the bat of Jose Siri. Jose Siri has 7 home runs, 4 stolen bases while playing amazing defense in center field. Randy Arozarena, he has 11 home runs. He's also hitting .308 with 37 RBIs and a 170 OPS plus, which is just ridiculous. Luke Raley belted his 9th home run. He also has a ridiculous 143 OPS plus out of nowhere. The Rays, they just find diamonds in the rough everywhere. Again, it's borderline witchcraft at this point, how good they are at stealing talent from other teams. Anyways, we head to the 9th. After Dalton Varsho hit a home run and Brandon Belt had an RBI, Toronto now has the bases loaded with Bo Bichette at the dish, and that stings. If you've played baseball or softball, you know how embarrassing it is to kind of hit a tapper to the pitcher, not only to just get out, but to end the game with the bases loaded. That sucks. The Rays win 6-4. The Astros and the Brewers, Corey Jolked this pitch. I feel like he's one of those guys where you can use his last name as a verb. He has 3 home runs and 5 stolen bases in his first 33 games. Remember, he's a rookie. Martin Maldonado, he has 3 home runs as well. And Mauricio Dubon, he secures an 8-game hit streak with his first home run of the year. He played absolutely wizard defense when Jose Altuve was on the shelf. He has 4 DRS and a 4th of the season. That is mind-blowing. Yordan Alvarez hit his first of the game. Stay tuned for his second of the game, but that was 425 feet. We got to talk about Christian Javier real quick because Milwaukee, they stood no chance in this one. Javier, he struck out 5 over 6. He allowed just 1 earned run to score. I wanted to tip my cap to him before we showed this lefty grand slam. Yordan Alvarez, he made it a 10 spot on the day for the Astros. He has 12 home runs and 46 RBIs and a career. Let me just go ahead and say that one more time. A career 164 OPS plus. Corey Jolks, he had 2 more RBIs later on. The Astros have won 8 in a row. Kind of a boring game, but here we go. The Angels and the Red Sox. Luis Rengifo put the ball in play for an RBI ground out in the second, and that gave Jaime Barria the lead. Barria, shout out to him. He carved his way through 5 scoreless, striking out 6 while only allowing 2 base hits. Now, he's not a full-blown starter anymore, so he was taken out after 64 pitches. Tanner Houck, on the other side of the bump, he had himself a day for Boston. He punched out 8 halo hitters. He's one of the top 10 nastiest starting pitchers, at least in my... He's not the top 10 best, but in terms of stuff, I mean, the dude with his movement and velocity, absolutely unfair sometimes, but his command is what gets him in trouble. The Red Sox ended up tying it 1-1 going into the 8th. It's not 1-1 anymore. Mickey Moniak, the kid cannot be stopped. That's his 3rd home run already. He almost has a 1 WAR on the season. He's only played 9 games. Chase Silseth, the kind of breakout starting pitcher from last year who kind of fell off, he is now out the pen. He secures a 6-out W, so he gets the W. The Angels are now 3 games over 500. So if we're going to talk about the Astros and the Angels, we have to talk about the Mariners and the Rangers. We'll talk about the Rangers game after this one. Kyle Muller, one of the biggest pieces of the Sean Murphy trade, has literally been us out there, like you and me, normal average people. He's given up 5+ runs in half of his starts this year. He almost has a 9 ERA. It started off rough with that 460-foot lefty home run from Jarred Kelenic, and it makes me so happy that he's been able to keep up his hot start. He has 12 doubles, 10 home runs, 6 stolen bases while hitting .297. Rookie Jose Caballero, I hope I said that right. He belted one long and far as well. That 3-run shot went 420 feet, his second. He has a 371 on base percentage. What? Kelenic, he added another RBI in the 5th inning, and staying with the 5th, Luis Castillo, one of the nastiest starting pitchers in baseball, up there with Tanner Houck just in terms of pure stuff. He now has 1,000 strikeouts. Can he get to 2,000 for his career? He's still just 30 years old, so if he can keep this up for the next 6 to 7 years, he can get there. Now, J-Rod, he doubled in Ty France, and Seattle got 3 more RBIs, courtesy of Eugenio Suarez. The Mariners ended up with 11 runs total on the day, so the Astros, the Angels, and the Mariners all took W's yesterday. What about the Rangers? They're facing off against the Pirates. Now, a side note to begin this game, this little hit from Andrew McCutchen did not result in any runs, but that is Andrew McCutchen's 1,500th career MLB hit. He has 7 home runs, 5 stolen bases, a 123 OPS plus at the ripe age of 36 years old. If he can keep this up, he's going to put his name back in Hall of Fame consideration. This game was tied after 6 innings. Luis Ortiz and Dane Dunning, they were both battling back and forth. They were really good. And there's an RBI and the lead. Carlos Santana, he knocks home Brian Reynolds. The call was overturned. It was initially an out call, but he was in fact safe. And look at that. Tucupita Mercano, he shocked the world with a grand slam to center field. He's not a Yordan Alvarez type hitter at all, but look at him with the grand slam. Ortiz, he ended up getting through nearly 8 innings. Shout out to him for holding the Rangers to just 2 earned runs over 7 2/3. Josh Young, my goodness. I know the Rangers lost this game. I'll spoil it right now, but the kid, he won't stop breaking either. 10 home runs. That was off of David Bednar, who was disgusting out the pen. Bednar, he eventually did close it out. The Rangers, they're just 1 game ahead of the Astros. That's crazy. The Giants and the Twins. San Francisco got all of their runs early, like first inning early, with J.D. Davis ripping an RBI double, which was followed by a 3-run home run from Michael Conforto. He cracked his 5th home run over the last 11 games, and he's hitting .317 over those same 11 games. There's a nice play from second baseman Brett Wisely to end the bottom of the 2nd inning. Sean Manaea, he was nasty. He struck out 8 over nearly 4 innings, but he didn't start this game. game, he was not the starting pitcher. There was an opener, John Bribia. But because he came in after the first and he went 3 2/3 with 8 strikeouts, he's going to get the W as San Francisco staff finally allowed a run to Minnesota, but it was just a solo shot to Kyle Garlick. That ball was destroyed, by the way. That's it, though. The Minnesota Twins get beat by the Giants 4-1 after Scott Alexander secured his first save of the year. If we're going to talk about the Twins, we have to talk about the Guardians and the Tigers. Who is this guy? Hunter Gaddis. He has been awful, like borderline historically bad to begin his career, so he started off fresh in this one. He got recalled after being sent down. He cut his majestic mane off. He has a brand new look, new hair, new me, and the best part is, it worked. He knocked down a liner from Andrew Vaughn and he made the play. And then he got the lead on a wild pitch from Mike Clevenger and Yasmani Grandal. He kept mowing down the White Sox. He had 4 strikeouts, just 2 base hits allowed over 6 shutout innings. He got some help from Andres Jimenez, and then he got Luis Robert Jr. to pop up to end his day again. 6 shutout for the guy who just got a haircut. I mean, baseball is so superstitious. That's probably what he was going for. Mike Zunino, he got a hit. Repent now. Jesus is coming. He's hitting 114 over his last 15 games. So that home run is huge for him and the team. Romy Gonzalez, he made a slick play going to his right to nab the speedy Ahmed Rosario. He tried his best to rally the troops, but Class A, he was nails. He got Clint Frazier. I didn't even know that he was on the White Sox, but he lined out. The Guardians win 3-0 as Class A now has 16 saves on the year. And look at Hunter Gaddis. That's his first ever MLB win. The Tigers and the Royals, I call this the bad man effect. Look at Brady Singer. He was terrified to face Akil Baddoo. Okay, all jokes aside, Akil Baddoo walked as Matt Fielding found a hole in the third base and shortstop gap for a 2-run single. But here comes the Royals. Vinny Pasquantino, he went 425 feet for a 2-run blast. And then Salvi made it back-to-back home runs. I mean, this Kansas City offense can be good when everything is clicking. Matt Vierling, apparently he wasn't happy with those 2 RBIs early. He wanted to double that. He knocked in Baddoo on a 2-run home run. By the way, Matt Vierling is top 4% in speed and he's top 11% in max exit velocity, so he does have some tools. Jackie Bradley Jr., he sat back and hammered a pitch the other way. That 2-run home run not only tied it, but it was his first hit in his last, 28 at-bats. He was 0 for 27. Anyways, this one needed extra innings where Baez clutched up. He scorched a meatball for a 2-run double, and Jose Cisnero punched out 2 to close it, his first save of 2023. Here we go, the Marlins and the Rockies. Chris Bryant and the Rockies scored 2 runs in the first on 3 doubles in a row. Chris Bryant now has 11 extra base hits and 17 RBIs. Elias Diaz is hitting .333 with 24 RBIs. That 24th RBI actually came in the 6th inning where he left everything to reclaim the lead after Miami tied it in the 4th inning. Jurickson Profar, he's hitting .381 with 8 RBIs over his last 10 games. A nice little audition for when he eventually gets traded at the deadline. Another guy that I think is going to get traded, Pierce Johnson. He's up to 9 saves now. Both he and Profar on a 1-year deal, so why would the Rockies keep him? Just ship him when they're playing at their best and get some prospects in return. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and update you guys on the standings in just a second, but let's talk about the stat leaders across baseball. Luis Ariz, he's still hitting .383, so we don't have anything to update in terms of the batting average leaders. Pitching leaders, it's still Shane McClanahan with 7, but look at Justin Steele, Zach Gallen, Kershaw, Joe Ryan, all with 6 wins. Home runs, Polar Bear Pete, 17 home runs with Muncy, Adolis Garcia, Matt Olson, and Judge. I think Judge is #1 in baseball right now in terms of OPS, so he's back. He's been better than ever almost. Sonny Gray is still the guy if we're talking about ERA. Then you have Alex Cobb, the only other guy with a sub-2 ERA, but I mean, Garrett Cole, a 2.01 ERA, nothing to scoff at. And then look at Shane. I mean, dude's got 7 wins and a 2.05 ERA. And shout out to Bryce Elder, a 2.06 ERA. RBIs, Adolis Garcia, he has 3 ahead of Yordan Alvarez, and he's 5 ahead of Rafael Devers. Saves, Emmanuel Clase is easily out in front. Bo Bichette, I think he had 2 base hits yesterday, something like that. He has 65 now, just 1 ahead of Freddie Freeman, 2 ahead of Ronald Acuna Jr. Strikeouts, Spencer, strikeout Strider, he has 86. Stolen bases, Esteury Ruiz, look at him, 24 stolen bases. The dude might steal 70. Also, shout out to Ronald Acuna Jr., who is on pace for a 40-60 season. The standings, we have the Orioles just 3 games back of the Tampa Bay Rays. The Orioles have won 3 games in a row. The Yankees have won 4 games in a row. They are 6 games back. In the Central, I mean, I don't even want to talk about the Central because all of these teams are kind of bad. I mean, the only team in this division that has a positive run differential, the Twins at +40. So that's actually pretty good, but they've lost 2 in a row. Moving on to the AL West, like I mentioned in the recap, the Astros have won 8 games in a row, and they're 1 game back of the Rangers. But look at the Angels. They've won 2 in a row. The Mariners won yesterday. They're 6 games back, so that's going to be a mad dash. dash to the finish line. Moving to the National League, the Mets have won 5 in a row, so they are now just 4.5 games back of the Braves for first place in the NL East. The Central, the Pirates and the Brewers are tied yet again after the Pirates beat the Rangers yesterday, and the Brewers got smacked by the Astros. The Cubs, they stay losing as well. They're 3-7 over their last 10. And then the West, look at the Diamondbacks. They've won 3 in a row. Every single team in the West won yesterday. I think the Padres didn't play yesterday though, but the Dodgers are 1.5 games ahead of the Diamondbacks. If you watched all the way until this part of the video, shout out to you. Thank you so much for always supporting the videos. I really do appreciate all the love. Do not forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. If you're already a subscriber, again, shout out to you. Have a wonderful rest of your day and catch you tomorrow for another recap.